Hey, what's up, Ontra Nation? So, have you ever been designing an Ontra page and you wish that you could do something really cool, something with custom CSS, something like overlapping elements? You know, the same stuff that you can do in pretty much every other page builder, from Divi to Squarespace, even ClickFunnels. Now, up till now, the only thing that's been stopping us from being able to do really cool designs like this has been the fact that we haven't been able to assign custom CSS classes or IDs to the different elements, columns, and blocks on the page. That's why we decided over at clickfix.io that it was time to kind of break the mold a little bit. So that's when we set about releasing 2 new shortcodes that are absolutely 100% free that you can take advantage of right now. So let's jump right in. Now, the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at straight CSS stuff, right? And so you can see that I have an Ontra page here. I have the normal elements. I have 2 image elements here. And let's take a look at the different CSS tricks that we've been able to implement. Now, realistically, all of the different CSS 3 elements and definitions are available to you in this shortcode, and you're just going to have to learn a little bit of how the syntax works. But pretty much, if you can think of how to do it, how to apply a static CSS 3 definition to an element, a column, or a block, you can do it with this shortcode. Now, we're also working on animations, but we'll get into that in a later video once we have everything perfected and all the bugs worked out. So what you can see here is you can see that we've been able to overlap the elements. We're able to overlap an icon in its own column with this other column. And I'll show you that here in the grid layout here. You can see that these are actually different columns. All right. So we're doing the overlapping columns. We're able to add text effects to an individual text element. You can do box shadows. This is on an image, which is why it looks kind of funky. You can do any kind of image filters. We've chosen blur for this example here. And you can even apply things like border radiuses to your images, so that way you're not having to rely on your designer always creating circular images or any other kind of shapes that you want to throw into the mix to kind of spice up your design a little bit. But no CSS conversation would be complete without speaking about media queries. And for anybody who's just getting started with CSS, or for getting started with programming or design or anything like that, media queries are simply what you use to tell the website what device is being viewed, and we do this by defining the screen sizes. Now, instead of just allowing us to do screen sizes and do media queries for actual CSS stuff, we decided that it'd be a lot more flexible for you if we went ahead and created a separate shortcode that allowed you to not just do CSS effects, but you can actually do execute any other shortcodes within the if screen shortcode you see here. And so let me demonstrate. Make sure you keep your eye on this text over here on the left, and also this icon here on the right. And we're going to go ahead and start to make this smaller, and you can see that, all right, as soon as it detected that we had a screen size change, all of a sudden it showed a different set of icons, and we changed the text. If we keep on going smaller, we can see that the text changed again. Now we're saying that your screen is probably mobile, and we went ahead and displayed a different icon. All right, so you can see that with the if screen shortcode, you're able to do a whole world of different things, all the way from showing and hiding different elements, or you can even do it for different blocks, columns. You could do it for any other shortcode that we have. And you can also, of course, just apply the different things like the overlapping elements. You can adjust the margins. So obviously, if it's on a large screen, you're going to probably need to have a different percentage or a different set of pixels than if it's on a small screen. So you can kind of dial everything in and fine tune. So that's it, just kind of a general overview on these 2 new shortcodes, the CSS shortcodes, where you can see that we can adjust CSS element, CSS column, and then there's another separate shortcode that's just CSS, which affects the block itself. If you have any questions about how to use any of these or how to put them into your projects, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. But let's take a look at a couple of real world examples of how we're using this new feature and this new ability to kind of make our Ontraport pages a little bit cooler. So you can see here that what we did is we went ahead and we overlapped this on these different feature boxes. We have the icon here. These are images, I believe, that we just went ahead and overlapped onto the column below it. On this other template, we went ahead and overlapped these two sections so that way the laptop was kind of hanging off the header area. On our own ClickFix page, we went ahead and applied some rollover effects to actual columns. All right, so that was light up. Didn't want to use buttons, so we decided to go ahead and just apply it directly to the column itself. And on this page, actually surprisingly, this is our pricing page, but this icon here, for whatever reason, only has this style here where it's looking to the left. So we just went ahead and we used some CSS to flip this 180 degrees. So that way when we do the toggle, it actually shows the other version of the icon, the CSS modified version of the icon here. So that gives us a nice little toggle effect. So you can see that these, while these different little examples over here were kind of interesting, once you start getting in and playing with it and you actually start to apply it to some of your real world projects, you're going to see very quickly that you're able to now take your Ontraport page design to a whole new level.